Chuck Norris is widely known as one of the toughest and most legendary figures in popular culture. To the world, he represents strength, discipline, and almost mythical toughness. From martial arts championships to action movies and global internet memes, his name has become synonymous with invincibility. However, behind the powerful image lies a deeply human story filled with struggle, pain, and resilience. Long before he became a martial arts champion or a Hollywood icon, Norris faced a childhood shaped by fear, poverty, and emotional wounds. His journey was not built on instant success, but on persistence and determination. The man the world celebrates as unstoppable had to fight many invisible battles inside his own mind and heart before he could ever stand strong in front of the world. A childhood marked by violence and poverty. Chuck Norris was born Carlos Ray Norris in 1940 in Ryan, into a home that was far from peaceful. His father, Ray Norris, struggled with alcoholism and often turned his frustration into violence within the household. Instead of offering guidance or affection, he ruled the home through anger and intimidation. For young Chuck and his brothers, daily life felt unpredictable and frightening. Nights were often filled with shouting, broken furniture, and fear of what might happen next. The emotional damage of growing up in such an environment stayed with Chuck long after he left home. The lack of encouragement and constant criticism made him feel invisible and unworthy. Those early years planted deep doubts about his value, shaping the emotional battles he would carry into adulthood. Feeling invisible in school and society childhood. Outside the home offered little comfort for Chuck Norris. At school, he was extremely shy and struggled with anxiety and insecurity. He was not the confident fighter people would later imagine him to be. Instead, he was a quiet boy who often sat in the back of the classroom, hoping not to be noticed. His worn clothes and withdrawn personality made him stand out in ways that increased his embarrassment rather than building confidence. Instead of being openly bullied, he was often ignored entirely. This sense of invisibility reinforced the painful message he had already absorbed at home, that he simply wasn't important. As his family moved frequently from state to state searching for work, Chuck never had the chance to build stable friendships. The constant relocation deepened his loneliness and made him feel disconnected from the world around him. Escaping home. Through the Air Force. At 18, Chuck Norris made a decision that would change the direction of his life. Instead of remaining trapped in the environment that had defined his childhood, he joined the United States Air Force. For him, this choice was less about patriotism and more about survival. Leaving home meant escaping the chaos and emotional pain caused by his father's behavior. When he was stationed at Osan Air Base, he found himself far away from everything familiar. However, distance did not immediately solve his internal struggles. He still carried the same insecurities and doubts that had followed him since childhood. The Air Force gave him structure and responsibility, but emotionally, he still felt lost. He was a quiet military policeman trying to find meaning in a world where he had never truly felt confident or strong. The long struggle after returning home. When Norris returned to the United States in the early 1960s, his martial arts skills were impressive, but the country had little awareness of Korean martial arts. Despite earning a black belt, he struggled financially and professionally. Supporting his young family while working ordinary jobs felt frustrating and discouraging. Eventually, he took a bold risk by opening his own karate school in Torrance. At first, almost no one joined. Days passed with an empty training hall and growing doubts about whether he had made the right decision. However, Norris continued teaching with dedication and discipline. Slowly, students began arriving, curious about this quiet instructor with exceptional skill. Through patience and commitment, his school gradually gained recognition, setting the stage for a future he could never have predicted. Becoming a martial arts champion. Chuck Norris soon discovered that competitive martial arts tournaments offered a powerful way to prove his abilities. Beginning in the late 1960s, he entered major competitions across the United States. Through intense focus and relentless training, he began winning match after match. Between 1968 and 1974, Norris dominated the professional karate circuit, eventually becoming a 6-time world middleweight champion. His fighting style combined precise technique with controlled power, making him one of the most respected competitors of his era. Despite this remarkable success, financial security and widespread fame still remained out of reach. The trophies represented personal victory, but they did not yet translate into broader recognition or lasting stability. Even at the height of his competitive career, he continued searching for a larger opportunity to transform his achievements into something more meaningful. A life-changing friendship with Bruce Lee. A pivotal moment in Norris's life came through his friendship with Bruce Lee. The two met through martial arts circles and quickly developed mutual respect for each other's abilities and philosophies. Lee recognized Norris's authenticity and encouraged him to explore acting and martial arts films. This encouragement eventually led to Norris appearing in the famous movie Way of the Dragon. The film's climactic fight scene between Norris and Lee, filmed in Rome's Colosseum, became one of the most iconic martial arts battles ever captured on screen. For many viewers, it introduced Norris to the world. Sadly, shortly after the film's release, Bruce Lee passed away unexpectedly in 1973. His death deeply affected Norris, who had considered him both a mentor and a close friend. Building a Hollywood career. After his breakthrough role, Norris gradually built a career in action cinema. Films such as Good Guys Wear Black and The Octagon helped establish him as a recognizable action star. His style differed from other actors in the genre. Rather than relying on flashy performances, Norris projected calm confidence and disciplined strength. Audiences appreciated his straightforward, heroic characters who stood for justice and honor. Over time, he carved out a unique space in Hollywood as a martial artist who successfully transitioned into acting. While critics sometimes underestimated his films, viewers enjoyed the authenticity he brought to each role. His steady determination allowed him to remain relevant in an industry that often discards performers quickly. The meme that made him immortal. In the early 2000s, Chuck Norris experienced an unexpected cultural revival through the internet phenomenon known as Chuck Norris facts. These humorous exaggerations portrayed him as an unstoppable force capable of impossible feats. Lines such as, "Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups, he pushes the earth down," spread rapidly online. Although exaggerated, the jokes reflected the powerful image he had built throughout his career. Rather than resisting the trend, Norris embraced the humor and expressed appreciation for the fans who celebrated him in such creative ways. The memes introduced him to younger audiences who had never seen his films or television series. As a result, Norris evolved from a classic action hero into a timeless pop culture legend whose reputation continues to inspire admiration and amusement around the world.